Hey, everybody, this is the Juice Box Heroes on your Thursday night edition. We're going to go over some of the Astros transactions that have happened this last week since the World Series ended, including some of our players and some of our coaching staff on this episode of the Juice Box Heroes.
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. It's the Thursday edition of the Juice Box Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. As always, the Dubon Fan Club president, Chris Moreno, is in the house, and Sweet Bee Bones Bryles. Fellas, how's your week?
Busy. That's pretty much all I can say. Yeah, got to drive a forklift today. That was fun.
I'm telling you, man, I wish I had that on. I wish I had it on camera. It was too good. I couldn't even have time to put the camera out.
Drove it like a pro. Yeah, man, just get ready. We got our playoff standings in, so we'll know who we're playing next weekend for Little League. So besides that, man, I'm excited to finally have some new news to talk about. So yeah, man, I'll hand it over to Bryles. Bryles, how's your week going?
Good so far. PK, it is going to be your job from here on out that if he's driving a forklift, I need video footage, and we need to put it on our YouTube channel for sure. Just as like a short or something like that. So look, I don't know if it's nice or not. I think it's funny.
There was a brief moment of Austin Powers. I'll just tell you that.
Perfect.
A very brief moment, but it was all good. It also took an hour to load the pallet, but it's all good too. So next time I'll have the camera ready.
Nice. There you go. All right. Well, other than that, yeah, I'm glad that we have some news to talk about. Obviously, with the World Series ending, as I did in the intro, we've got some good news, some well, neither bad nor good news, and also, just a little bit of regular stuff going on this week. It's been busy. So, anyway, PK, how's your week been so far?
Excuse me, it's been pretty good. Busy, but it is. I'm trying to get things lined out for the end of the year because I'll be off for some time in December. So it's good to be busy now so that I can be not so busy in December. But all good, man. Everything's good. Let's get into this thing. So, we got a few topics we want to talk about. I guess we're going to start with, because it's going to be the quickest one. Astros hired a new hitting coach, Victor Rodriguez from the Padres. Never heard of this guy. I'm going to be honest with you until I saw it on X. However, last year, the Padres ranked in the top 10th both in batting average and on-base percentage with one of the lowest strikeout rates in baseball. So, if he can bring whatever, impact he had with the Padres over here, I mean, we talked about it all year, the swings and misses, all the time, right? It was – you have a Paredes who's probably your best batter that's up there with the most discipline, right? With taking the most pitches. So it's going to be interesting to see what Rodriguez can do as a new coach. He was with the Padres for 2 years. Prior to that, the Padres ranked 20th in the MLB in terms of batting average. And in 2024, they jumped to first place in batting average. So he's got a small sample size, at least with the Padres. Again, I don't know much about him other than the Padres stuff. Small sample size of improved offensive numbers, and that's a good. It's a lot of power hitters over there too, right? So, y'all's thoughts on Victor Rodriguez and the signing?
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. I've been tracking him probably for the last 2.5, 3 years. Just waiting for him to be available. I mean, so I'm just joking with you, man. I've never heard of this guy.
I almost believe you. I was
like, damn.
So who had that on the bingo card?
Yeah, I mean, from the numbers that you read off, I mean, it looks really good. I mean, so sounds really good. I mean, of course, like we talked about before, I mean, the Astros are in the bottom third of the majors in pretty much almost every offensive category. So, and like I said, I mean, like those boys in San Diego could swing the sticks. I mean, so hopefully he brings some of that over here, and they can turn things around. Bryles, what about you?
I actually did a little research on this guy because I was the same way with you guys. I really didn't know much about him, but he came up through the Boston minor league system. 2017 was the assistant hitting coach for the Red Sox. apparently was very impactful for them as well. And then after that, ended up going to Cleveland before he got the full-time job in San Diego the last 2 years. So I think, even though that we're American League, we kind of stick to not only just, our team, but our division. But if you watched baseball other than, just our little bubble of baseball teams or whatever, he did a really good job. San Diego went from a team that was very much struggling, even when they were trying to trade for some really good players, to an actual offensive force that was competing with Los Angeles, competing with the Diamondbacks, throughout that whole thing, and the Giants as well. So anyway, I think that he's going to be a great addition. The only thing I will say as a negative, and has absolutely nothing to do with him, is the fact that I wish I knew a little bit more about the process that the Astros front office went through when they were looking for a hitting coach. I thought it was kind of odd that was like the very first thing that they wanted to do. Maybe this is the guy they've been looking at the whole time. Then all of a sudden he was available and they're like, okay, well, yeah, we got to jump on this right away. Or, maybe it was something that they just said, hey, we've seen what the Padres have done. Let's go ahead and, throw a contract out there for him and see if he takes it. So either way, I think it's going to be a great addition. I think from what we've seen the last few years from the Astros, they've had some kind of wild swings. We've talked on this podcast a number of times on if we could make a change. And I think this is even around like the All-Star break, like we would turn over the entire hitting staff. So the fact that they actually were proactive on that immediately, and then immediately were proactive on going out and getting the guy they wanted, I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, I just think a new voice in that clubhouse, a new perspective, at the plate, or from another coach, new perspective from a new coach, can come in, see these guys, swings and what see what their approach is. And with it being a new voice, can offer maybe something that Snitker and Cintron weren't, seeing. Because, in professional sports, you have that a lot with the coaches, right? Even with players, where it's like you're hearing the same thing over and over again, right? And maybe, that new voice is going to point out something to you that you didn't think of or you didn't hear before or whatnot. So, be interesting to see. I mean, we saw it with Toronto. Right, they hired the Minnesota Twins hitting coach last year. This year, I don't know for sure, right? But look at the offensive change that team had, right? And so it's from a different perspective, a different view, a different coach coming in and saying, "Hey, here's the approach that we want to take," or here's something I see in your swing, yada yada yada. So it's good. We all, for the most part, kind of asked for a new regime change as far as the hitting room was concerned. We got it. So, it's going to take some sample sizes to see, what it's going to do. But I mean, for what he did with the Padres, if we can cut down our swings and misses, I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was a big thing last year, was swinging at stuff that they normally don't swing at, and then you got to improve the bad average to runners in scoring position. So yeah, hopefully Senor Rodriguez will get it done. Like I said, I mean, if he cuts down the strikeouts and this team kind of looks and goes, kind of reverts back to the team that they were in 2022 when they were one of the hardest teams to strike out, like PK said, man, I'm on board for it. So I'm good, man. Welcome to Houston.
Welcome to Houston, Victor Rodriguez. You got a lot of pressure on you.
Guess what? The Tex-Mex is better here than it is in California, so you'll enjoy it.
That's a fact. All right, man. So look, we had some news this week, right? We had the Astros made some moves, i.e. outrighted several players to waivers, right? So I'll go over the list real quick, unless you guys have something to say on it. So here we go. This is going to include some injuries as well. So you have Caleb Ort, Ronel Blanco, DeZenzo, Hayden Wisniewski, John Rooney, Brandon Walter, Luis Garcia, all activated from the 60-day IL, right?
Okay.
Luis Garcia.
Okay.
Luis Garcia did elect free agency. That was something we'll get into here in a minute. Pedro Leon was claimed by the Baltimore Orioles off of waivers.
Oh, I did not know
No, I
that.
didn't even see that. That's new. That's new.
John Rooney outright to Sugarland. Kennedy Corona outright to Sugarland. And the Chaz Chomp outright to Sugarland. So the Luis Garcia one, man, is kind of, I don't know, kind of sucks. It does suck, not kind of, right? Because you saw the success that he had before he got hurt. You know, and they talked about Dana about it being essentially a transaction or a trade because we were going to get him back, you know, after the All-Star break. We all know what happened. He came out and threw 2 innings, right? 2 innings. Did he have one? He only had one outing, wasn't it? Or was it an outing and
No, it was 2. It was 2.
Yeah. So, you know, he's done. He's done again for another year. So, like, the dude worked his ass off for 2 seasons, you know, season and a half to get all the way back, just to come back with a new pitching style, I guess, if you want to say it, right? And you know, he took a lot longer down on his rehab starts before he got called up. And then we all know what happens, man. You know, he tore it again. He's going to be out for a minute. So he's a free agent. The Pedro Leon thing being claimed by Baltimore was kind of a shock to see. I know that was a Moreno guy. So Chris, I'm curious to hear, since it's your first time hearing that, what your first thought is on it.
Yeah, I mean, like a handful of the names I was kind of puzzled by. I mean, but here's the thing: like in the offseason, these guys that are on the 60-day injured list, those guys can no longer be on the injured list, so they have to come back and they have to take up real estate on your 40-man roster. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've always been high on Pedro Leon, and the fact that, you know, like, it's just a little frustrating. I mean, same thing with Kennedy Corona. I mean, these guys get called up, and I get that Pedro Leon had 30 at bats. There was like 30 at bats. I think he had like 3 hits or something like that. But I feel like, I mean, he was brought up, he started, and then he sat for like 4 games, and then came in. Then sat, then came in, then sat for 3 games. And it was like, you know, like the kid never really had a chance to like get his mojo going. And I feel even worse for Kennedy Corona. I mean, like in a year that you had guys like Taylor Trammell, Cooper Hummel, Bryles out there playing, you know, the outfield for the Astros, you bring up Kennedy Corona. I mean, he goes, what, 0 for 1, 0 for 2. And then he sits on the bench for like 6 games, comes in, pinch runs, and then they send him down. I mean, so it's like, I mean, you gave Cooper Hummel over 140 something at bats. I mean, you gave Taylor Trammell over 200 at bats. I mean, like those are guys that are expendable. I mean, like you, and again, I'm not saying if Pedro Leon was an everyday bat, then he would have been Mookie Betts, or same thing with Kennedy Corona. It's just that, like, you know, I was more shocked that somebody had already jumped and claimed Leon over Kennedy Corona as quick as they did, because I mean, like, Leon spent most of his season hurt anyway. I mean, so, you know, but again, Corona struggled mightily down in AAA, so he was definitely a call up out of necessity. Yeah, the thing with Garcia, I mean, like, I think we all saw it coming. He got the Urquidy treatment, so, you know, there's, I mean, unfortunately, it's a financial decision, you know, so
yeah.
And like, who else? Was Rooney one of them?
Rooney was outrighted. Chaz, he's gonna like free agency.
Oh, Chaz.
will.
Yeah, I think I think everybody kind of saw the Chaz McCormick thing coming. You know, he'll always have that awesome, badass outline of the center field dirt from the 2022 World Series. He'll never have to buy a beer here in the city of Houston for, you know, what he did. I mean, but like you ran out of time waiting on him to like try to replicate the year he had in 2023. So I would keep an eye on the Reds. I think Chaz McCormick has Cincinnati Red written all over him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's not either claimed or they sign him to a major league deal. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but you know, hey, you got to make room for all these guys that are, you know, have to get placed back on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how all that goes. You just to continue the Chaz conversation, I mean, honestly, I know we don't have a whole lot of room for him at this very moment in our starting lineup in the outfield. But at the same time, if he can try to figure it out, I'd love to put him in Sugarland until he does get to figure it out. So I agree with you. I do think that he's probably going to find a major league contract, like a 1-year deal somewhere. Like I agree. He's like a Reds. He's a Kansas City Royals guy. He could be, he could even go to Tampa. You know what I mean? There's a handful of teams I think that would be willing to take a chance on him, probably with a lower AAV, and just see like what actually happens. But anyway, if that never comes to fruition, then by all means, Chaz, hey, buddy, you're welcome back here, man. I would love to see you go into AAA, go into spring training in this offseason. I don't know, maybe play a little Caribbean League or Mexican League and figure it out. That'd be fantastic. So anyway, best of luck to him anywhere he ends up landing. And then for I do want to touch on the Luis Garcia thing real quick. This, you know, one of you mentioned that he was getting the Urquidy treatment. And when when you say that, I understand that, but Chris, you and I also saw him in his rehab starts in AAA, and they weren't good. I feel that he kind of got robbed in two different ways. I think one, Manfred making the change off season last year or was that 2 years ago, to where he couldn't rock the baby and all that other kind of stuff. Like, yeah, the change his entire way he pitched and his entire setup. I mean, I don't think that's fair, one. And then two, after he got hurt, he just didn't look the same again. It's his fastballs were center cut. They didn't have any movement on them. They were not as fast as they had been by any stretch of the means. And if I remember correctly, like he was trying to elevate through AAA, and then he was doing so bad they dropped him back to AA before they brought him back up to the majors. So I know he struggled a whole lot. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Luis Garcia, but at the same time, I do think that it was his time. I do find it odd that he didn't try to latch on to our minor league system and try to come back through again, because that's where he saw all of his progression in his career and everything that he's accomplished. So that was a little bit of a shocker to me. And then the news on Pedro Leon, I'm absolutely shocked on that one. I had no idea that Baltimore, I guess, was eyeing him from the very beginning. So, yeah, I guess good luck, Pedro Leon, there. I know that when we got him with international money, that was a huge deal. And it was, I mean, everybody was like, oh, this is the next guy that's coming up. He's the next Carlos Correa. He's the next big thing. And it didn't turn out that way, unfortunately. But if he can do that in Baltimore, good for him. I hope he turns into like a JD Martinez, where he goes out there and just absolutely balls out. And then we're all going to be absolutely irritated and probably whine and complain about it here on the podcast. But at the same time, you know, I wish only the best for the guy. So anyway, that's all I got. PK, what you got?
Yeah, no, it's, you know, I don't even know. I mean, I think I said my piece on it, right? I mean, I didn't really, I kind of agree with the Pedro Leon thing. I didn't think, you know, he would be claimed that quickly. I mean, the kid dealt with so many injuries, right? He just couldn't stay healthy at the time that, you know, he was gaining traction to potentially, you know, have an opening day roster spot, you know, based on how the spring went. Like, he got hurt, right? Then he couldn't stay healthy in Sugarland. You know, it was exciting when he came up for the few games that he did, but couldn't really put anything together. And it goes back to Chris's point also with Candy Corona, right? Where we saw it with Loperfido last year, or, you know, 24, right? You bring these guys up, you bring these guys up for, you know, 6 games or whatever, but they get, you know, 4 to 6 at bats in those 6 games. Like, what do you expect to see from your players, you know, when you're doing that to them? And I completely agree, Chris. Like, you had Taylor Trammell and Cooper Hummel, right? Like, they're better options than you know, a healthy Leon that was down there, or a Corona, you know.
World Series champion beating Trammell and Hummel. Is that who you're talking about?
But look, he's gone. He's in Baltimore. Hope the best for him. You hope he can stay healthy. That's his main thing, right? He just has to stay healthy for Leon. Yeah, those are the first moves, man. Those are the first moves of the offseason, right? The hitting coach. I mean, that was a really quick move. I hope the guy, works out. They went after him so quickly. This roster is going to start kind of moves like this are going to start being made to kind of clear the spots. I do have something that I wanted to go over with you guys. I didn't talk to y'all about it, but this is going to be.
Oh, hold on. Real quick. Also today, the Astros have extended the qualifying offer to Framber Valdez, which he will probably decline. So there's that. That's also a bit of off-season news. But go ahead, PK.
Yeah, so this is off of X, courtesy of @Sleeper Astros, also courtesy of @Kylie MCD. So these are the few projected contracts in the ESPN article done by @Kylie MCD. So just kind of want to get your take on it. So Framber Valdez, 6 years, 168. Ranger Suarez, 4 for 92, 4 years, 92. Shota Imanaga, 3 years, 43.5. Chris Bassett, 2 years, 34. Brandon Woodruff, 2 years, 25. And Mr. JV, 1 year, 13. Projected contracts.
Okay.
What say you? What say you on those?
As far as what? Like, do I
well,
think
as far as like
with the Astros?
Would the Astros go for any of those prices?
I would think so. There's a couple of them they would go for. I mean, I think you should kick the tires on, like, just in that group right there. I would definitely kick the tires on Brandon Woodruff, especially for 2 years. Yep. I think he's 33. I think so. I'd definitely kick the tires on him. Ranger Suarez, I think he's 29. I would absolutely kick the tires on 4 year 92. On Framber, nah, bro, I'm good. JV, I mean,
JV 1 year 13. I think
we've done this. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like no, I mean, like, because here's the thing. I mean, like, if we look into the rotation going right now, I mean, like, yes, the sexy thing is let's go sign 4 pitchers, and then you would have or 3 pitchers. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, you still have 3 pitchers coming back between anywhere from probably June to August timeframe, with Wisniewski, Blanco, and
Walter,
somebody else, whoever. Yeah, those guys. So, I would probably. Man, see, he pitched good too. I mean, if I had to choose, because he's a lefty, I think I'd put my money in. I think I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with Ranger Suarez over him. But I think regardless of who you go after, I think you absolutely kick the tires on Brandon Woodruff. I think that would be a massive sign-in. Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, if I had to pick 2, I would take Suarez and I would take Woodruff. And I think that's a really nice rotation where you line up with you go Hunter Brown, Ranger Suarez. I mean, you could flip flop, Woodruff or Christian Javier at that point. And then your 5, you let Blue Ball and McCullers fight it out in the spring. Yeah. So that's what I would do. I don't know, Bros. What do you think?
No, when PK was reading that list off, the very first thing I thought of was Woodruff. Because keep in mind, at one point, he was the number 1 in Milwaukee. So, I mean, I know that was pre-injury. I don't know if he's going to go for that cheap, though. I think he's going to command a little bit more money than that, expecting that he's going to get back into form and actually pitch a little bit better than what he has. Ranger Suarez, on the other hand, that is a completely different story. I do think that he's worth every penny that he's asking for, and he looked fantastic for the Phillies. Mm-hmm. So if they can figure out a way to get him, I mean, that would be a very impactful 1-2 with Hunter Brown. Now, as far as Shota is concerned, I do agree, though, that is a good lefty, and we'll see what happens. The Cubs tend to turn their really good players into pretty good players. So I kind of feel like hopefully we could turn that around for him and do a little bit better. Now, the problem, though, that you're going to have with Shota, if he's a free agent and he's going to be able to pick where he wants to go, I don't know if he's going to want to not go somewhere on the West Coast. Keep in mind, he's going to want to go back to Japan every chance that he gets. So he's going to want to be a little bit closer to home. Now, for the big one on there, are you seriously thinking for 1 year and $13 million that Jim Crane isn't going to get his golf cart partner back on this rotation somewhere? You know
God,
he is. And he's going to put set him into the sunset, and it's going to be over. And the only reason, here's the only reason that I am actually
so we can retire an Astro? Is that why?
No, not just so he's going to retire as an Astro and go to the Hall of Fame. We already know that. The thing that I am actually looking at, he looked terrible the first half of the season. Look at his stats after the All-Star break. I want to say he had a sub-3 ERA after the All-Star break. And keep in mind how bad that offense was also in San Francisco the first half. I mean, I know that the stats don't look good for the first half, but I'm telling you, he's going to go out there with Jim Crane. They're going to go to River Oaks. They're going to play 18, and he's going to come out, get a win, and set off
but I want you to remember
with an Astros hat on.
I want you to remember the last half of 2020, what was that, 4? Where he was complete ass, and his ERA was like 5.8. I mean, like, I feel like this is the girl that we've dated twice and we broke up with. Just do the right thing and just don't. I mean, like, I feel like that 13 million can go somewhere else. I mean, if you're asking me, keep JV. How about you go out there and go get Devin Williams and have Devin Williams be your 7th inning guy, and you go Williams, Abreu, Hader. That's what I would do.
That's terrible. Also,
like
Riles, you kind of took the words out of my mouth with, that first half of the season. I think he was like either 0 for 7 or 1 for 7. I mean, it was
awful.
It was not a good start. And then you're right though. After the All-Star break, I mean, he looked like maybe JV of old. He did. I mean, he was dominating. Right. The thing is if you do sign him, can you afford to have a start potentially like that at the beginning of a season with the hopes that he turns it around by the end? You can't.
No. Right? 100% no. He's got to be throwing bullets from this get-go.
And then the flip side of that is we can go back to Charlie Morton last year. Look at what Charlie Morton was doing pre-trade deadline, right? And we talked about it on our episode about how bad we wanted him, and he had turned the corner and he was starting to dominate again. Then he goes to Detroit and he's complete ass, right? I mean, he was a complete ass. So I think for me, the ship has sailed on JV. I agree with Chris. Save that $13 million for somebody else. On the Ranger Suarez thing, who they had Aaron Nola, Phillies. They had Aaron Nola. I mean, I don't know.
I don't
Wheeler.
watch a lot of Wheeler too.
Wheeler. So Ranger's your number 3, right? Yeah. Ranger would be your number 3 guy. So, like, I think the 4 years, 92, I think is what I said. I think that might be a little bit low. I feel for him. If you can get him at that, then you take him. I would take him over Shota. The Chris Bassett move, like, he was starting during the season for Toronto, but then he got moved to the bullpen during the playoffs, right? So, like, I'm not. I think the price tag for that's a little too steep. 2 years, 34, right? When you have someone like Blue Ball waiting in the wings that that showed a lot of promise at the end of the season. If you were to get, like, we're passing on Framber. At least I'm passing on Framber.
I think we all are.
I think a lot of people are. I mean, it would take. I wouldn't even say a miracle. It would just take. I don't know what it would take. Something really stupid to bring him back, given how it ended for him last season. So, I like the Ranger Suarez, and then the Brandon Woodruff. I agree. With y'all. Like, pre-injury, the dude was dominating. And if you get him at, a 2-year deal, for 25, 35, right? You take it and you see what you can do.
No, I agree. Especially if you can flip one of these guys, like you get them on a prove it deal, like a Brandon Woodruff. Dude, I mean, worst case scenario, and it's a win-win. I mean, as far as for him, because, like, if for some reason you get off to a bad start and you get Brandon Woodruff on a prove it deal, you flip him at the trade deadline for prospects. I mean, starting pitching, like I said, the value on starting pitching is so high. I mean, you could easily flip him for 2 pretty good prospects. I mean, so, but yeah, I mean, like, there's a couple other guys like I have on my wish list that I'm just gonna, don't want to get too deep into since we're already over the 30-minute mark. But yeah, I like it, man. Like, I think we should continue to bring up little scenarios here and there on every episode and just kind of see how that works. Well, until they start signing, then all of a sudden those scenarios aren't going to really matter anymore. So
and then become a real deal.
We won't have any more money to spend.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. Man, it's been a good week. It's some good Astros talk tonight. It's good to have a little bit of news to discuss, right? So we'll be back on Sunday once Chris plays the music. We'll be back on Sunday to continue the Astros offseason talk, right? So yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend, man. Thanks for tuning in as always. Make sure that you do this for me before y'all get off. Like and subscribe to our channel.
Oh, look at this. That's
Every week,
5-star
man.
presentation right there.
Every week. We're on YouTube at Juicebox_Heroes, on X at Juicebox Heroes, Instagram, Juicebox Heroes, Facebook, Juicebox Heroes. We'll put a poll. I'm gonna put a poll out over the weekend, so make sure y'all vote on that. We'll talk to y'all on Sunday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and weekend. I'm PK. That's Chris. That's Bryce. And this is the Juicebox Heroes.
Yeah, have a good weekend, everybody.
Hook 'em, number 11.
That's right, number 11. Go Missouri Tigers this weekend.